Well, hello! What are you doing? You alright? Fandabidozy, super, fantastic, great. Welcome to the second edition of W.H.I.T News. I hope you enjoyed the first one, by the way. It's just a little bit different and it keeps you up to date what's happening in the background of W.H.I.T in a little more detail. So yeah, so thanks for joining in. And also, thanks for the condolences left on my nan. It was a funeral on Monday. I know she would have been looking down on us and she would have been proud because everything couldn't have gone any better. It was a cracking day, the sun was shining. It was just really, really good. It was just, I can't say anything more, to be honest. It went really, really well. So thanks again. My nan now is, as they say, rest in peace. She may not be here, but obviously you've still got the memories. So thanks, Nan. I mean that from the heart. You can't take the memories away, never. So yeah, so she was an amazing woman. So yeah, fantastic. So yeah, I'd also like to say to me viewers and subscribers that I'm absolutely made up this week because on one of my old videos it has reached 1,000 views and there's one up in the running coming close, about 950. So I'm absolutely dancing on the ceiling about that because it's just, I'm blown away really. We don't really do it, like I say, as for view ratings, we do it to get the news over to you. But like I say, if the numbers go up, it means, you know, more people are watching, which is fantastic. That's just brilliant. We're a very genuine group, as you know, if you've been following us from day one. We don't make anything up. We don't try to make things bigger than what they are. There are other people out there who do. Maybe for making money and that reason and so on, and you know, trying to make stories up and whatnot. We're, you know, going on up and they're going down. That's all I can say about that. So yeah, we're a very genuine group, as you all know, and always remember that. Right, I had a comment left from one of our members, Shane Winslow. Thanks, Shane. I hope you're doing well. And the dog, Tia. Yeah, he left a comment saying, are we doing an overnight and a meet at Wobblewell Woods? Wobblewell Woods, I'm sure that's near Sheffield, if I remember right. Wobblewell Woods, I won't like to say that after a few pints, but there you go. I rung Mick, I said, Mick, how are we doing, blah, 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 and he said, I think 95%, there has been some sightings and paranormal activity there, so W.H.I.T will be there in a flash, sorry. So the answer is to that, Shane, yes, we are doing 95% at the moment, we are doing one. We don't know a date, we don't know a date of any of the meets or whatever yet, because it's still early into the new year. So yeah, it is happening. It's down on the cards. We'll let you know more in due course. Now, the other day I was, well, actually making a brew, to be honest. We can't eat a brew. And I sat down and I thought, right, this film with Chris Turner, can we speed things up in a way, or, you know, can we get some more stories together? And I thought, I know, I've got an idea. So I said to Mick the other day, I rang him up and I said, Mick, I said, listen to this for an idea. And he said, what's your thoughts? You know, what are you thinking? I said, well, what about if we get the banner one day later on in the year, on a Sunday, preferably because that's when most people are not working and, you know, there's a lot of country walkers and whatnot. I said, we'll go up to the terrace gardens maybe, put the banner out, maybe pitch a tent, and let people come up the paths, come through the woods, and then, you know, they'll read the banner and we might get some interesting accounts. And he said, well, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. You know, I said you could give them a card and then you could actually progress in doing an actual form they fill in, and then we could get back to them, you know, with all the details of it and whatnot, ASAP, more or less, you know, and see if we can pick anything up. And also as well, there may be people who read it and say, well, I've not had a sighting, but I know somebody who has. So, you know, you never know until you ask. That's my motto. They can either say yeah or they can say no. So, yeah, so that's something we're going to add. And I think we might be adding it to something like I belong to Winter Hill and surrounding districts. That's on Facebook. If you want to join the group, go on there, and we might release a date on there. And one Sunday we might pop up and, you know, see if we can get some more stories from the area. So yeah, so keep your eye out for that. Now, I was speaking to Mick the other day about the Leylands map. Now, Mick, I got cross wires really. He has started an actual Leylands map, but he's not sure he's going to release it. Now, what I mean is, it's for his own preference. Now, he might change his mind, I don't know. He has started it, but, like I said, it's for his own research. It does take time, like I said, because he's OCD, but that's what makes it perfect. But I can give you a bit of good news, that if you have a look on the W.H.I.T website on Facebook, you'll pick up that he's just released an actual map of the surrounding area of the accounts witnesses have made, and a couple of descriptions and videos added to a map. So go along, have a look on WIT Facebook, like I said, and you'll soon pick the map up and you can see what's been happening and seen in the surrounding areas of Winter Hill. So yeah, now getting on to the actual, I said about the team maybe going over to a haunted house in the first WIT News edition. Now, there was a couple of cross wires at the time, and it just ended up that Mick and Cooch went, and Pete and Nat. Now, they went over to the house on the 4th of Feb. They got there around mid-afternoon. They all went in, they shut the door, and they both, all four of them, sorry, and obviously the householder, the owner himself had actually felt it. They felt a big weight on the shoulders, so there was definitely something there. But this is where the door shuts in your face, because we are not allowed to say much more about it, which is hard for me as you viewers and subscribers are viewing me to give you information. So I'm a bit gutted about that, but it's down to the actual house owner. Until he gives the green light, we cannot actually release anything about it, to be honest. I can give you a bit of an insight, but what I actually did, when Mick rang me a couple of hours off, when he got things mixed up, the dates and whatever, I couldn't make it, I was at work. And I was just about to say, well, and he said it, basically, he said it to me, he said, I'm going to take the voice recorder. And I said, yeah. I said, I was just about to say that. Take the voice recorder, and surely, you know, the house owner will let you go in and just let, you know, see what happens. We may pick something up that the human ears can't hear. I don't know, you might miss something with talking in the background. So, yeah. So, he has got about 2 hours, which he's going to try and narrow down to about an hour for reasoning listening. But like I say, again, we can't release it until it's, you know, got the green light from the owner. So Mick's going to put it together, and then if he ever does, we can, boom, hit you with it, and then you can see what went on. And I thought, well, really, it's a bit unfair that we can't not get over what happened. So what I did do, I text Pete, and Pete came back by saying that there was 2 entities in the house, and one of them was from a suicide where he probably, I think he said the bathroom, I remember right, which I think is at the back of the house. Now at the front of the house there was something else, and Pete says it was demonic. It felt demonic, and he said also there was something else there, and he said there was a vortex or a porthole coming from either the row or next door. He said it was very strong. So I thought, that's interesting. He said it's basically one of the entities was trying to drain you of energy. It was aimed, I think he said, at adults and children, like adults as in men. He said it was trying to, as soon as you walked into the room, it was trying to drain you of energy. And I thought, that's funny that. I said, because not long after I kind of found this out, I rung Mick after the first time I'd spoke to him, after he'd been to the house the same day, later that evening, and he did actually sound that he sounded like he was tired. And he actually said to me on the phone, I'm a little bit tired, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, so, you know, there must be some truth to it, kind of thing, you know, that Pete put that in his text. So, yeah, so like I said, till we get the green light, my hands are tied, unfortunately. But, you know, these things are set to try us. Right. Also, as well, I just wanted to add something a little bit different, really. Now, if you've watched the Missing 411 The Hunted movie, you'll see that the first story is about Tom Messick, or Thomas Messick, and basically he's ex-military. He was 82 years of age at the time, and he went missing on November the 15th, 2015, near a place called Lake George Wild Forest. Now, like I say, he was an experienced outdoorsman. He actually trained people in survival. He was partly deaf. He was partly blind in one eye. And also, I think he had a bad knee as well. So obviously, 82-year-old with them disabilities can't really go that far. But they've not actually found him. Now, they did a really fantastic search, apparently. They say it in the movie. A very thorough search. And another thing which I picked up on as well, which was quite strange, and I'm going to look a bit more into it, is, I don't know if it's true, but this was from one of the actual residents at Oregon. He said that, and I don't know if it's true, don't hold me to this, but it's funny it wasn't actually added to the actual movie of 411, that his brother went missing 10 years prior in the same way with the same people Tom Messick went missing with. Now, I don't know if it's true, but that's what I've heard. And neither of them have been found to this day. So that's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But I will look more into that, to be fair. But basically what I'm going to try and do is aim at one particular thing which was on the film. And that was that David Pilatus interviewed one of the guys, the witnesses who were there, and he said, was there anything strange? And he said, all I can remember is it was really, really quiet. He said, and you could hear like a trap door, metal door shutting. And you think, when you're watching the movie, you think, that is strange. In the middle of the woods, you know, you don't expect that. I believe there was a sawmill in the area. But you just kind of put it to one side, you know, you make a bit of a note to it. And then, yeah, so the other day I was actually watching another programme, funny enough, called Terror in the LBL. And anybody using the paranormal, is LBL stands for Land Between the Lakes. And there too, a former and now retired police officer was interviewed over 2 hours long, which is a fantastic interview. Just type that description into YouTube, Terror in the LBL, and you'll pick it up. But basically he was saying as well that one of his accounts was he was camping, and before anything strange happened, he actually did hear a metal door shut. or on the lines of sounding like a metal door, which, you know, is, you go, bing, I've heard that before, and it's just, you know, it's just strange that two witnesses who don't know anything just say the same things. I mean, that's something you wouldn't throw into a random, you know, add anything to a story or anything, you know, so there must be something behind it. Maybe it's a portal, a vortex opening, who knows. But the other day as well, funny enough, it was the other day I heard this, but previous, same again, a couple of years ago, I heard that some train drivers in like the tops of America and Alaska, like Canada area, they do apparently see Bigfoots and Sasquatches all the time. And one of them one day was actually going along in the freight train or the passenger train, and he thought, I'll just try something kind of thing. And to his shock, he actually did wave, and one waved back. So that was very, I mean, they are kind of human in a sense, like us, in a, you know, two legs, two arms. They're not far away from us as humans. And then the other day I was watching something, and a woman was waiting for a bus in America near a forest, and a Sasquatch walked across the actual road, looked straight through her, and as she's looking at it in such shock, it actually waved to her. And she was in that much shock, she nearly waved back, but when she looked, it kind of just darted off into the forest. And she thought, so that's strange. It came across, it stopped, it waved. Why did it? And when she looked behind her, because she was in the moment, she didn't realise that the bus she was waiting for had pulled up at the bus stop and frightened the Sasquatch. So that was quite interesting. So you've got a few tales there where people have added the same thing, the factor, into the actual stories. And it's just, I just thought to throw it in. It's just, you know, very different. But yeah, so I wanted to also add that we're doing a new bit of a section in WH.I.T News called Out in the Field. And that's basically where there's actually pictures put to Mick, to headquarters, or myself, whatever, sent in, and videos where we go out in the field and we do like a bit more, say an interview, and then we'll do a longer film about it, and Mick will put it together at his end, and then we'll release it. But basically these are just a few stories which I've added to this edition of WH.I.T News. So basically the first one was, it was took at the Reebok, which if you look on the map you'll see that the stadium, the Bolton Stadium, is right near Winter Hill. And if you look at the photo which Mick has actually added this week at the Reebok, like I say, the photographer was taking the picture, the picture on a pitch invasion, and he noticed as he looked through the lens, there's people pointing up at the sky. And just to the left, it's a really clear day, you'll see a UFO. Now, this picture was took by him, it was handed to somebody else, and then this person sent it to Mick, and Mick has passed it on to me. So talk about going around the houses. But yeah, so this has come from a witness to head office. So I'll let you take a little bit of a clip, and I'll try and zoom in as well. So just enjoy this little bit of a picture. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of an image there, which is definitely something unusual, and a UFO in the top left hand corner. Right, over to, basically back to the first update I did. You remember I did a bit of a thank you for Simon helping with all the computer stuff and whatnot. You'll see his business board. I've tried to just explain what he does. But also as well, I'm trying to get hold of his dad. Now, his dad actually had a sighting at Rivington. Now, I saw him the other day and spoke to Simon's dad, and he said, yeah, I'll speak about it, you know, I'm fine. But he's one of those, really. He's not really bothered about the paranormal. He just said, look, I saw it, this is what I saw, bang, bang, bang. That's how it goes. It was a few years ago, I think it was around about 1990, if I remember right. But I didn't actually have my camera there at the time. So what I said to Sam, I said, if you bump into your mum and dad at any time, can you, because we're both there, can you just take a short clip? So thanks to Simon, I've got this little bit of a video for you. Enjoy. Right, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a short film. And also on about films, I've got something as well which is a real good surprise for you all. Now, if you do follow Truth Proof with Paul Sinclair, you'll know he's doing a film called Wolflands. It is finished, and also I noted the other day that Nick Park, who, if you don't know Nick Park, he's worked with some top artists like U2, Robbie Williams, etc. No, it's not a band, it's etc. He's a fantastic guy, and it must be a real pleasure to Nick to work with Paul and vice versa. Now, he left a comment the other day. Nick said he's absolutely made up that he's actually worked on Wolflands. Now, for somebody who's worked with top artists, that must be a massive statement. That it's got to be a massive statement. But it also tells us as well that it looks like they're rounding off the music time, the music side of it. My lips getting a bit dry, so yeah, so that sounds like the actual film's boxed off and the music is boxed off, or getting that way, or very close. Now, it will be coming out soon. We don't know a date as such, but if you go on Facebook, there actually is a page for Wolflands, which will keep you up to date on what's happened in the past, what's happening to the present day. So yeah, add that and just keep your eye out for the updates. Now, if you also keep your eye on Truth Proof, you'll see that Paul was out at Benton Cliffs the other night with Best Bob, and they actually caught like a sphere of light coming out of the hill. Now, that when I saw that, I went, oh my God, that takes you back to when we had the sighting. Because when I looked over, when there was me, Mick, McLaren, Nat and Pete, we looked over and I was the first to see it, and there was piercing laser green eyes looking straight through me. Now, that was actually at the bottom of that hill. Now, there's been a few other things happened around that hill. Previously, a few years back, if you follow Paul, there was a fishing match and a UFO landed on that hill. So there's something there to do with that hill. Now, when we've looked on the map, excuse me, there's a burial mound about a mile, 2 miles behind that hill. I don't know if that's anything to do with it, but everything kind of associates around that hill. It's strange. And if anybody's been up there, they know there is something very unusual. Because I've seen a few comments left, and even Nick Park left one the other day as well about the hill, about the sighting. So yeah, so like I said, it just throws you back to that night when we were there, two creatures, whatever. I think it was a big cat and a deer, but why would you put them two together? You would never ever dream of putting them two together. Maybe they were shapeshifters, but they actually did shapeshift, because when they were running up the hill to the left hand side, all I can picture was they looked like they turned into square robotic, I don't know, I can't explain it, striding cubes together. I don't know, it's weird. But as they reached more or less the top of the hill, they turned into like serpent snakes, and they went round the top of the hill and they stood both about, what, 3 foot apart from each other, and they were viewing us all the time. Now, at the time, one basically was trying to move us away, and the other one, no matter if the other one kind of came closer to us, which it did, the other one stayed with that hill. It was like it was guarding that hill for some reason. So there's something very unusual about that. Very unusual. But, you know, if you want to know more, have a look on Truth Proof. I know today that Paul and Don the Mon has landed the story on Truth Proof. So go on Truth Proof and have a look through the menu section and have a look at the story. And also have a look at the previous ones as well, because it's an absolute cracking read and you'll be surprised what actual stuff comes into Truth Proof. So yeah, I'd also like to thank Paul for the cup. Last time I was at Bempton, while I mentioned it, he gave me a couple of prints, which I'm absolutely made up about. I'm also, as well, funny enough, instead of looking at a wardrobe, which is boring, I'm going to probably, when the weather gets better, do a board. So if you've any posters knocking about you don't want, PM me and I'll address you can send them to me. And let's get them on a board, and maybe we can use it like Paul does. Like, you know, he has a map on and different things like his boot covers. We can maybe do something like that. It just gives you something to, you know, get you a bit more into the mood of the paranormal instead of looking at some empty wardrobes. Well, they're not empty, but you know what I'm saying. But also as well, I've got an absolute cracker of a special for you, because Paul has sent me a bit of an out clip of, at the time, I think it was around June the 1st, 2020, he was filming it in the forest in Yorkshire, when probably they were starting, you know, Wolflands. But he actually has sent me a clip. So for a special to you, the viewers and subscribers, and I can't thank Paul enough, who's a very genuine guy, good friend, thank you. I can't say thank you enough. So, like I said, it's not been seen before, I'm sure. So, enjoy.
We've come to a remote part of forest today, and we've found on this hillside these strange tree formations. It could be windfall, it could, you know, that we're not saying it's all done by anything or anyone, but it's unusual, and we'll probably find a few examples of them because we know there's some more further up. And as you can see, that's a good 10 foot in air, and how it's broke is quite unusual. And if we pan round, we're on I would have thought a 45-degree banking, maybe a bit steeper. So it is unusual. Nobody's been up here, I wouldn't have thought, in, I don't know, 20, 30 years. There's no footfall up here. So just unusual. Cheers, Steve.
I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed Paul Sinclair in Green Wellies. Now you know what he looks like. But yeah, thanks Paul for that. Yeah, we'll keep you like up to date on here as well, what's happening with that film. But it will be outstanding because everybody's gunning for the film. People want to pre-order it now. But like I say, it will be, like I say, amazing, that film, outstanding. There's no words to use, to be honest, above that, because there's nothing basically out there what's the same. It comes from the heart and it gives the witness a proper say in what they saw. And anybody who's kind of, you know, some people want to, they've seen a sighting and they want to get it off the chest. So yeah, look out for that. Wolflands. Right, also as well, I'm going to add to Out in the Field. If you saw, well, yesterday actually, Mick put on one of the accounts and the witness speaking about Great Hill. But previous to that, you'll see that Mick put a film up about the sheep killings. They've started again, which we're keeping our eye on. We're actually going back up tonight to have a little bit of a mooch round and see if anything's changed. We have got a few trail cameras up there, so fingers crossed we can catch something. But yeah, I'm going to add a little clip before Mick brought his film out of what I took up there, which will give you a closer look to what we're doing when we actually go and do a little bit of research around Winter Hill. So on that note, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I'm not going to blah 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 on. Thanks for joining me at W.H.I.T News, and I will see you soon. Thanks again. Thanks again, Paul, for the little outtake and the cup. I can't thank you enough. Speak to you soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Well, hello. You alright? Bloody belting. Right. Guess where we are again. I think we'll start calling this Home Sweet Home. There you go. We're back up river. But why? Because we've had a bit of news. And the news is, can you see them? Well, Coochie's torchlight down there. There you go. We've had some more sheep killings. We came up about 3 weeks ago, remember, if you remember, on the back end of W.H.I.T News. We brought Thomas. Nothing down here. Mick and Cooch have been coming up. There's Mick, can you see him there? He's just setting up because he's going to do a little bit of a film for you as well on his channel. So yeah, we came up 3 weeks ago with Thomas, there was nothing. Now, with Mick and Cooch coming up, they found a sheep kill, but we reckon it's about 3 sheep. So we've come up for do a little bit more investigating and maybe put a trail camera up or 2. So let's have a closer look and take it from there. Catch you in a bit. Okay people, let's have a walk down. Let's have a walk down. As you can see, Mick and Cooch are down there. I think they've found a couple of ear tags as well. One, I know he's found one definitely, but let's have a look. I mean, why me as well, you can see, you can hear them talking, but you can see that it's a really strong gradient that for something to, that's the ledge where something mysterious was, but let's have a look. In fact, I'll leave the camera on, you can see how steep it actually is. Yeah, it's alright. I've never slipped yet. But there's always a first. Well, just after we left?
Yeah, probably all 3 are looking the same. Cooch has found the skull over there.
She has?
She has, yeah. But it looks something in there. So, some of these boats have got cartridge on it, and some have got...
Oh, straight on it. Sorry mate, go on.
Some have got cartridge on, and some have got flesh on them.
And they've still got bone marrow in because they've still been north of bone marrow.
Yeah.
Oh, the fresh them, you can tell.
There's a shoulder there.
Oh, yeah.
You see.
Yeah, they have. Still got flesh on them.
There's a, what's it here?
Is there no prints?
Nothing.
What's this here?
Alutes everywhere. A lot of people have been, I've been walking, whereabouts?
Just there.
You can't make that out though, can you? It's just grass.
No.
And so that's 2 shoulders. There's a shoulder there, a pelvis there, another shoulder there. So that's 1 sheep.
You've got pelvis over here somewhere, just around here.
There's a bit of a spine. Now there's another spine around here somewhere.
Let's just go over here. Let's take the viewers and subscribers over here. We can have a look.
Oh, here's the other shoulder blade as well. So that's a shoulder blade with that pelvis backbone over it. So that's 2. And the other one will work each one there.